Welcome back to the High Point University on-campus talk show, Point Blank. I'm Jordan Bankston. The show today is going to be a little different for two reasons. Number one, it'll have 3 guests instead of 1. And number 2, this episode will be used to highlight Black excellence that is happening on our campus. With this being said, our first guest has a responsible job of keeping this campus safe. But what if I told you that her heart was the one that made students feel safe and at home all the time? Just a couple years ago, she went viral and was even featured on the Today Show for this clip.
For students at High Point University in North Carolina, so much so that after commencement this week, the new college grads lined up to give their beloved security guard a special goodbye.
I'm here. I got you. This one.
Thank you. Y'all better come back to see.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Valerie Baxter, AKA Miss Val. How you doing? So, that clip of you going viral and that video of you going viral by the students hugging you and just showing you a bunch of love, how was it at that moment in graduation? How did you feel?
I actually didn't even have a clue somebody was recording it because that's what I normally do at work every day. I hug the students, I hug them, but in turn, when I saw them coming out, my heart just got full because it was their first year out since the pandemic. And tears just started rolling. So it actually wasn't anything I did, it was something that they did.
And tell me, you saw the clip and stuff, and how was it when you started getting called by all these news stations and all these outlets just by being yourself?
Well, look, being so I'm not a real big social media person anyway, that very next week we'd had a food truck on the campus. So I go up to the food truck to get food, and faculty and staff was like, Valerie, you're famous, you went viral. I didn't even know what viral was at the time, right? And our communications director told me, well, Valerie, they're telling the truth. That video that Luke shot went viral, and the world is talking about it. So, I mean, I didn't think it was a big deal, like I said, because it's what I usually do every day.
And, we talked about that too, even before the show, about your smile and how you make students feel. Ms. Val, where does that come from? Where do you think that smile comes from?
It comes from being that I remember, like when I used to couldn't do that. There was a time in my life when I couldn't smile. There was nothing to smile about. So now I smile all the time because that's the only thing we can give each other that don't cost a cent, and we can never run out of it.
And how did you go from not being able to smile to now being maybe the best smile on campus? Not even debate. How did you go from that?
And I guess it just comes natural because everybody I encounter with a smile, and they in turn encounter me with a smile. And it has been that way the whole time I have been here, from probably my first 6 months on this campus. Yes.
So when you first got hired, what was your original point? Did you know that you were going to be the person that you are today?
I had no clue. I came in here to get a job and ended up with a career.
And what do you think has been the best thing you have done so far in your career?
Actually, agreeing to be a part of this, a part of HPU, because I was here and it wasn't anything like it is today, and I think that's one of the best decisions I've ever made.
So when you talk about it, HPU wasn't the way it was when you first came to how it is now. How has that been, seeing the campus grow and seeing the campus
my goodness. I think I've actually seen probably 13 buildings go up in 13 years.
Wow.
and to watch the transformation. And some days, you know, I go up to the 5th floor of Panther Commons out on the balcony of Kazuka, and I just look out, and I remember when there was nothing there.
And when you go out and you look at these things, right, you kind of reminisce about stuff, right? Is there a story that you think, or any advice that you ever told a student that sits with you, or that a student took and used it in their life and you saw it?
You know what I feel when I'm with the students on campus, I think about, wow, I get to see my future evolve, you know, and they talk to me, and I listen to the things they don't tell me, but I can hear them.
That's good. And before the show, you know, we talked about, you know, the beginning, right? Where even before your career here, how was it growing up, and what was that like? You know, because we're trying to see where the real Miss Val comes and where the real smile comes from.
Seriously, I'm actually the youngest of 7, and you know, I grew up in a little town called Paul Creek, North Carolina, right outside of Charlotte. You know, so I was the youngest of 7. You know, I don't recall ever getting my first brand new anything until I was like 10 years old. You know, and you know, coming from a single parent, my father died when I was 6 years old. So my mother struggled. She struggled, and you know, I said, you know, when I get old enough, I don't ever want to have to live like that, you know? Yeah. And so far I haven't. I got a 48-year-old daughter who's my best friend, my best friend and my biggest cheerleader. Yeah. And
being the youngest of 7 children, what life lessons have you learned from that?
You know, I used to hear people say that the youngest get everything they want and do what they want, but that was so far from the truth, so far from the truth. You know, today all my siblings are deceased, except 2 sisters I have that live in Charlotte, you know, and the connections that I have with them have been like all of it all together, with all 7 of us all together. So we really got great relationships, and I think one of God's primary purposes for me is to build and rebuild relationships.
Yeah. And do you find yourself doing that here as well? Build and rebuild relationships. Do you find yourself doing that here as well? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, I want to know what type of joy you have when it's family weekend and you see all these parents come and you see the kids that, you know, may have went to you for a hug just to have a smile on their face, right? When you see their genuine smile when they have their parents with them, how is that for you?
You know, recently I haven't been at any family weekends. Recently, I was off this past one. Matter of fact, the last couple I've been off. So I actually hadn't attended any. But to see the students, like I worked all 3 Presidential Scholar weekends, and this last one, and it was raining really, really hard, and I was up at the top of the 5th floor on the balcony looking out, and I see this wave of purple umbrellas coming down the street, and the only thing I hate is that I didn't get the opportunity to take a picture. It was absolutely remarkable. I'm serious. It was a whole sidewalk of purple umbrellas, and I was just overjoyed. I probably was up there crying.
So we're you know, you're talking about the purple, and you're talking about, you know, the environment here at High Point University and how people have so much pride. How did you even find out about, you know, this job, your career at High Point University?
You know, I don't know. It just happens.
Just happens.
It really just happens. You know, one of my favorite cliches, and a student, when I first started working here back in 2011, I was working second shift and I was walking through the point one night and a student stopped me and she said, Miss Val, it was about 11 o'clock at night. She said, can I take a picture of you? And I said, yeah, sure. So she takes this picture. She says, you smile all the time. And she said, what is your favorite slogan? And my favorite slogan is, if unique is what you seek, by all means, just be yourself.
Wow.
So that's what I try to do. No matter where I'm at or who I'm around, you will meet the same person.
Mm-hmm. And when did you really have that as your favorite quote? When did that really resonate with you? When did that quote resonate with you as your favorite quote? When did you know?
I think, be true to you, you know? And I remember a time when I wasn't like that, not at all. I thought I had to change based on who I was around or who was listening or who would see me. But none of that no more.
Wow.
It's hard to be a comedian.
It absolutely is.
Yes.
Yes. And so many people have been saying that, you know, you are the same person today that you were yesterday, and, you know, that quote definitely does stick with you. You know, it definitely does
Absolutely.
define you. So, Ms. Val, before we wrap it up, we actually have a video that we made that we want you to see of, you know, students, how students think of you, you know, and how they actually see you. So we're gonna roll that clip right now.
I love Miss Val because she's really caring and really invested in the students.
Thank you for everything, Miss Val. I love seeing your smiling face every day, and thank you for keeping our campus safe. We love you.
Every time I saw your smile, my day just got instantly better.
Thank you, Ms. Val, for keeping everyone safe, and I enjoy seeing your smile.
Hi, Ms. Val. I love seeing your face when I come onto campus. Thank you for keeping our campus safe and secure.
Hey, Ms. Val, you're the coolest person on campus, and thank you for keeping us safe.
Hey, Miss Val, thank you so much for keeping our campus safe and secure. We love you.
Hi, Miss Val. I want to let you know that your positivity always makes my day, and I love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was the respected and loved Miss Val. Don't go anywhere because we welcome two figures on campus who are very important as to what it means to be a part of the Divine Nine. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you back.
I'm Bonnie. I'm Vivian. And we're the makers of Bon and Viv Spiked Seltzer. It's sparkling water and alcohol. It comes in fruit botanicals like pear elderflower with 0 grams of sugar. Yeah, seems too good to be true, but let us tell you, the myth is real. What do you think, sharks?
I'm in. I want in too.
I'll double their offer.
Hey, this is my expertise.
No,
I'll counter
don't
their
go with
offer.
them. Go with me. Go with me.
What's up, y'all? If you need any type of editing, videography, graphics, photography, or any type of podcasting, reach out to us at any of the links on the screen. We can complete that job for you at an affordable price at YNV Media.
Welcome back. It's my honor to introduce you to two individuals who embody the definition of what it means to be part of the Divine Nine. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the president of Alpha Phi Alpha Incorporated, and we also have the vice president of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. We have, for Alpha Phi Alpha, we have Richard Woodley, and for Alpha Kappa Alpha, we have Victoria Ori. Please welcome them. How you guys feeling today?
I'm doing good.
Good. A little nervous.
Good, a little nervous?
Yes.
Nah, you shouldn't
You guys
be
have a
nervous.
really nice setup.
So, what is one thing, I'm gonna ask you, Rich, what is one thing that made you want to be part of the Divine Nine?
So for me, what stuck out to me coming onto campus, it was kind of like the family and stuff that I saw surrounding it. Back home, I have a big family. I'm very family oriented. So moving far away from home, I wanted people who were going to look out for me and kind of help mold me into being a better person, better leader. And that's kind of what I saw in the Alphas. My beliefs, morals, kind of all aligned with them. And even before I was a brother, they were looking out for me and kind of already helping me and stuff like that. So that's kind of what led me towards that route.
And what about you, Victoria?
So for me personally, although I am a legacy and my mother is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated as well, she never tried to force me or kind of influence me to join it. She just let me figure it out on my own. Once I finally got to campus, I honestly wasn't really quite interested, but I had seen the sisterhood in those lovely ladies, and I knew that that's something I wanted to be a part of, and I also had a strong sense of wanting a sense of responsibility on campus. My Doug was head in the sand of my major, and I was ready to like pop out and see what other opportunities were not only on campus but off campus for me.
You know, that's actually interesting you say that, because you said that you at first weren't interested at all.
Mm-hmm.
What made you, what is one thing you really saw in those ladies that made you say, I need to be a part of this?
Sisterhood. It was sisterhood. They genuinely took care of each other and loved each other, and they were so nice to me too. So I was just like, why wouldn't I join this lovely group of ladies? And then the cherry on top is the fact that my mother is also in the sorority, so that kind of sealed the deal for me.
So speaking of the culture and the atmosphere, Rich, how was the culture and the atmosphere being Alpha? How was that like?
It kind of just embodies a lot of leadership, scholarship, being a servant to everyone in the community. We focus a lot on community service within the High Point area. We go out, give food out to different people like that, because High Point is a food desert. So it's just, those are like kind of like the three main things right there within the culture.
And tell me the exact day of what goes into that type of, food drive, and where you guys kind of help out with the community. What goes on to that day?
So the biggest food drive that we did, we reached out to the CAF and asked them, could we pick up some food from them? Kind of like the leftovers and stuff that they weren't using. We took that, left it frozen, and then we cooked it all up, warmed it up the next morning, seasoned it, and then took it out and rode around throughout the High Point community. Whoever we saw outside, we just gave it to them.
So y'all did all that?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It took like a week of planning to get that all in order.
And how rigorous is that planning? Like,
It's very rigorous, to say the least, yeah.
So, let's talk about the notable alumni. Let's start with you, Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
Being an AKA, you have Alicia Keys, Bernice King, and you also even have, I didn't even notice until I looked it up, an honorary member of Jada Pinkett Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Those people who have now made it into the world, who are part of the sisterhood, what does that actually mean to you, and how does that motivate you?
It honestly blows my mind to think at one point that they were in my position, and it honestly just motivates me. Although I don't aspire to be famous, it just proves that I don't know what could happen. I could end up being Jada Pinkett Smith. I could end up being all these incredible women in that industry. So I don't narrow my mind to just what I plan to do right after I graduate. There's so many different opportunities.
And Rich, let's talk about your notable alumni, Martin Luther King, and Jesse Owens. What does that mean to you with that type of legacy that's in your brotherhood?
It's just like being a part of something that's way bigger than just you. These people were in the same shoes, kind of like how she was saying, same shoes you once were. So it's kind of just interesting that they were all going through something similar to you at one point.
And obviously you guys had your Founders Day, both of you actually had a Founders Day in the last 2 months. What's that like in the, D9 atmosphere, having the Coaches Day, having to celebrate that?
Just like a celebratory day, kind of like how you celebrate your birthday or something like that. For us, we had a Founders Day dinner. A lot of brothers in the area, alumni brothers, just throughout all of North Carolina came to that dinner. It's time to fellowship, talk to each other, get to know each other, make different connections, a lot of networking and stuff like that. So just a big celebration for the brotherhood.
One thing that I love about, Divine Nine is that it's a brotherhood no matter what age you are. So it's like a big brother giving advice to a little brother.
Literally.
And I'm gonna start off with you, what is the best piece of advice that a fellow Alpha has given you so far?
That's a good question. Could you come back to me?
I'll come back to you.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so I've been given a lot of advice, but one that comes to the forefront of my mind is one of somebody that is a part of a chapter that my mother is in. So somebody that is much older than me, and she is not an undergraduate member. She went to school to be a nurse. Nursing school is very hard. She said she was in for maybe a month, and she was like, nope, I'm gonna go to law school. And she went on to do great things as a judge. And even my mom, she decided after she had had me and my brothers that she wanted to go to PA school. After that, she decided to go get her doctorate. So a big piece of advice that they have told me is to just don't sell yourself short. And it's okay if you want to change your career path, because she ended up being super successful. My mother is very successful too. I'm so proud of her. And so just because you graduate with a certain degree, that doesn't mean that that's a closed case. You can still do other things.
So don't sell yourself short. How have you used that so far in being on campus or outside of campus? How have you used that advice in your everyday life?
I just try to help out as much as I can and be a part of what I can. When I had first joined the sorority, I didn't quite know what I could get really involved in. I ran from the floor to be in PHC executive council member. I got it, and I was the event coordinator. That took a lot of work. And so I also joined Volunteer Center. Now I'm on the executive council for that. And so just believing that I can do it, but also listening to myself. I know when it's too much. But I know what I can take.
And Rich, what about you? What is the best advice?
So for me, I'm kind of I'm more so of an introvert. I don't really like getting outside of my comfort zone, going to talk to different people or anything like that. But going into these different conferences, just meeting different people, my advisor, he told me that you just go up and talk to people. You never know what they can tell you. You never know who you may meet, what pathway they may take you on, and just without what I want to do after I graduate in general. I want to start my own media production company. So that comes with you having to go out in the community and make those connections with different people. So just being more personable and talkative when you come out and talk to different people and stuff like that.
And what are ways, being an introvert is hard, and trying to being an introvert, trying to be an extrovert is very hard. What ways or what steps have you taken in order to be more of an extrovert in a sense?
Coming on this talk show today. That's one. I've spoken on different panels within this year so far. Just in these conferences, making it a challenge in my head to go up and talk to different people, get to know different people and stuff like that. Even when I'm back home in the community and stuff, I went and volunteered at different places just based off of who I knew and just to go talk to them and stuff like that. And I'm trying to grow a brand out there as well. So putting out an ad, selling myself to different people, the product, it's just stuff like that.
And Obviously, you're a president. Obviously, you're a vice president. What have you tried to do as far as being the president of this chapter? What have you really tried to push and try to get out there?
So for us, our main national programs are go to high school, go to college. That's where we go and volunteer at different, talk to different high schoolers, teach them about the importance of going to college or a secondary institution after high school. We have Project Alpha where we teach sexual education just so people are safe in that regard. There are other things like that. So some events that we've done on campus, we've done a Project Alpha event where we went out in the community. We partnered with, I can't remember the organization name, but they brought different pamphlets and stuff like that, just educating the students on High Point's campus about being safe when doing stuff like that. And then go to high school, go to college. We went around in different elementary schools, high schools, middle schools, just talking to students and stuff like that. So those are kind of like the main things that we've been focused on, community service.
And what about you? What, as a vice president, what have you tried to push as far as for the AKAs? What type of representation do you want them to have, and what type of things have you guys been focusing on?
So for campus specifically, something that I really wanted to focus on was just solidifying our space. Sigma Mu was the first Divine Nine chapter on High Point University's campus. We've been here since 2002. We have a long legacy, but every year changes. So we want to make sure that we are solid and that we are growing. And in that, I've also pushed to make a bigger connection with FAM, with the Alphas. And so we always have joint events. Me and Richard see each other almost all the time, and I'm always bouncing ideas off of him. Even just doing things outside of like specific service events, like being able to hang out as one, so that way when we see each other around campus, we have a strong bond and a strong community, because that's what we really need here.
And when you say like bouncing ideas off of each other, how does that conversation usually go?
We just had one last week, honestly.
Yeah,
at the
I
volunteer
usually
center.
just start bothering him.
And then we just start coming up with different ideas, brainstorm, and talk about different things we can do, what hasn't been seen before or done before on High Point's campus.
And the last question I'm going to ask you both is, what is next in your future? Right? I know you said don't sell yourself short, and I know you said you want to start a media production company. But truly, what is next? After you guys walk that stage and are still representing that brotherhood, that sisterhood, what's next? I'll start with let's go Victoria.
I would say for us, what's next is kind of like my answer before, really solidifying our space here. Although we've been here since 2002, we don't have all of the same benefits or privileges that the Greek life organizations have, but the university is working towards it. And so just working with the university, being in compliance with the university, and yeah, that's basically what's next for us, building with the university since we've been here.
What about you, Rich?
Kind of like what she said, kind of solidifying where we are on campus already. We're a new chapter. The Phi Phi chapter was founded chartered to this campus 2022 in March. So just making sure the next people who come after me, they're ready to be in this spot, know the connections who they need to talk to on campus to be able to branch out more and just create more unity.
Both of you, I appreciate you guys for coming on the show, being able to share your wisdom, being able to share what it really means to be part of a brotherhood, to be part of a sisterhood. I greatly appreciate it.
Of course.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for joining us on today's episode, today's special episode. If you are not already, make sure you follow our Instagram on all social medias at HPU Point Blank. Now, I have a big announcement. On March 26th, we will have the one and the only Nito Cubane on Point Blank. He will be here, and he will be here to share a lot of invoice and a lot of insights as he have. So we hope that you join us, and tickets will come out very soon. Follow us on Instagram to be updated on any type of updates we have for that show. Good night, and we'll see you next time.